Welcome to the Dave Palma Show, the podcast that revives, restores, and awakens your innermost capabilities.
You have the training and the talent to succeed, but do you have the guts to fail?
I love what I do. When you love what you do, you want to be the best at it.
Today is about the power of you. You will change the world.
Find your path to success through the journey of those who have succeeded. And now, your host, Dave Palma.
Hi, welcome back to the Dave Palma Show. And in this episode, I have with me the author of Collect the Cash. She's also the founder of BCS Solutions and has a cool story to share about business-to-business collections. Dee Bowden, welcome to the Dave Palma Show.
Hey, Dave. Thank you so very much. And good afternoon, good evening, good morning to your fabulous audience around the world. Excited to be here today.
Excited to have here as well, Dee Bowden. I mean, money makes the world go around, but money is big top flavor of the probably the whole of this year and next year and for however long it lasts because of the pandemic. Well, because of the pandemic and apparently because of the war in Ukraine and the economy and everything, so it is a very serious business going on. So we're going to talk about your book, which everyone would probably be interested to know about. But before we talk about your book, let's hear your story around Collect the Cash as a business owner and the struggles associated with it.
Sure thing. So here's how the story normally goes. What had happened was about 15 years ago, I used to work for a small company outside of Boston, where I'm originally from. You know how it is if you've ever worked in corporate. You get hired, they bring it to your cubicle, they bring it to your box, into this plant. And in my case, they said, "Hey, Dee, welcome aboard. We've got $8 million in outstanding invoices that we haven't collected." I was like,
wow.
"Y'all have what?" I know, right? I said, "Y'all have $8 million." They're like, "Yeah, we have $8 million. And they had a collections team. But unfortunately, they were not able to collect this $8 million. And so they hired me on a part-time basis to collect the money. So I go to my cubicle, I sit down with his accounts, and I'm like, wow, this is a lot. So I'm a person of faith, so I said a short prayer. And then when I got out of my prayer time, what I discovered is that business-to-business collections is it's four things. It's problem solving, number one. It's answering the question of what had happened was. That's the first thing, is how come we didn't get paid? The second thing is customer service, because whether you're in business or in life, customer service is very important. The third thing is gratitude. Gratitude is saying thank you for the opportunity for a person to help you collect your money, collect your payments, and then making sure your check gets cut. And then the last thing is relationship building, as you and I know, because how we got here today is because we built a relationship over, internationally. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So I get to work doing problem solving, customer service, gratitude and relationship building. And I collect $6 million in 60 days while working part-time. Then the unthinkable happens. The CEO of the company says, "Listen, let's come downstairs, have a chat. Dave, I think we're going to get a bonus." No. He says, "Listen, we made an executive decision. We're closing the company today. And all y'all, 100 people, lost their jobs 2 months before Christmas."
Wow. 2 weeks before Christmas?
No, 2 months before Christmas.
Oh, 2 months before Christmas. Yeah, so like
2 months before
October, like that.
Right, exactly. So imagine coming in, you get hired, you collect the money, and then the entire company gets shut down. We all lose our jobs. So fast forward to the pandemic. I'm watching small businesses here in the States apply for loans, apply for loans, all the things, and I'm thinking, okay, my story is happening on the larger scale over and over and over again. And so my book coach challenged me to write the book Collect the Cash, so I could tell the story about why sales and AR go together, number one. Number two, you have to have a tracking system. Number three, you have to do it this way: collect the cash. The sale is not complete until the money's in the bank, but you must collect it first. And after watching large companies and small companies go out of business, how about this, Dave? Watching all the sports arenas be open just for the players, and all the vendors are all small business owners. None of them are there. How about watching Broadway shut down? All the theaters that are connected to Broadway as a business are all shut down, which means small business owners didn't get a chance to sell their tchotchkes, all the things. So I'm watching my story happen over and over and over again. And I was like, okay, somebody has got to have this conversation about why collecting your payments is so important. Because here's the thing, Dave, everybody celebrates the sale because the sale is sexy. Everybody celebrates the sale, but nobody talks about how come I haven't gotten paid. That's because most people don't want to talk about getting paid because they're concerned that if they ask you for the payment, that means I might ruffle the feathers of my customer, and I don't want to do that. It's uncomfortable. I don't know what to say. If I say the wrong thing, they may not pay me, all the things. And so I created Collected Cash to tell you that you're doing problem solving, because whenever you provide a product or a service and you don't get paid when you're supposed to, especially if it's contractual, you got to solve the problem. You got to figure out why. And then the customer service is doing the follow-up. The gratitude is thanking your customer for working with you. And then the relationship building is so that once you solve this problem, you'll go on to continue doing more work with your customer.
Right, I see. Well, that's a pretty good, concise story, in one, and pretty recent. Obviously, you wrote a book during the pandemic, by the sounds of things, which obviously I don't even know if we're still in the pandemic or not, really, if it's a global pandemic.
I think we're in bits and pieces of it. I mean, because yes, they've lifted some of the mask, requirements, but you still got people that are just out here just, willy-nilly. And I feel like you have to exercise, caution and concern.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
We apparently we've got to live with it, so it's something that's just going to be with us for years anyway. So it's not really it's something that it's just going to be. It's like talking about HIV or few other things that's around, polio, that kind of thing, so right, okay, well, that's the story. So I suppose you've already started talking about it a little bit, but tell us about your book now, which obviously probably would take us right up to the rest of most of the episode. Tell us more about the book.
Okay, gotcha. So the book is actually the story that I opened the show with, but it's also talking about mindset. Everything in business, everything in business starts with your mindset. Because, for example, when you have to collect money, you've got to get into the right zone. You got to get into the right frame of mind to get on the phone, deal with your customer, plan, set your goals. How are you going to collect the money? The second thing is that as an entrepreneur, as a small business owner, you have to look at. I talk about why it's so important to have tracking systems. You need to have something that tells you the name of your customer, the contract number, the amount of the contract, what did you sell to them, when you're supposed to invoice them, and when you're supposed to get paid. I talk about that. I talk about why having a collections team as your company grows, why that matters to you, because you don't want to. If you're the person right now that does all the things in business, if you're the business owner, you're the salesperson, you're the marketer, you're the invoice person, and the collector, you eventually need to have somebody else that does that with you or for you. So I talk about that. And then I talk about something that's called the collection zone. So Dave, are you a sports person? You like sports?
I used to do track and fields, on an internet. I did the Olympic trials and I did, big competitions.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Gotcha.
So I like sports.
Perfect. So in my book, I have a chapter called the collection zone, and what I have is I talk about it from this perspective. I too love, basically love baseball, basketball, and soccer.
Yeah.
And so in the collection zone, I talk about pre-game, which is actually getting your mindset ready to do the collections. Basically, what are the thoughts you need to be saying to yourself? How do you see yourself, reaching that goal? What's your plan of attack to get this money? So I talk about the pre-game process. Then I talk about game day. Game day is when you're actually on the phone or in person or email or Zoom or Teams or whatever method you need, but you're actually having a conversation to go over the outstanding accounts. Because here's the thing I didn't say. When I'm talking about collecting cash, I'm talking about it from a contractual standpoint, number one, and I'm talking about outstanding invoices that are either 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days past due. So those types of invoices take longer. And so my book and my process is all about what does it take to solve those kind of problems. People who do transactions, say through PayPal or Stripe or Square, those are pretty simple. You just swipe your credit card. If it doesn't go through, you call the person up and you say, okay, hey, your credit card didn't go through. Oh, sorry, let me swap it out, get you a different card. When I'm talking about in business, and I'm talking about more invoices, exactly. So I'm talking more about that part, and I'm talking about why that matters. And so in the book, like I said, I talk about the mindset, what's the frame of reference you have to be in to do that. I talk about, like I said, the collection zone. So there's pre-game, which is all the things what you're saying to yourself. There's game day, there's getting on the phone, making the phone calls, researching the issues, solving the problems, and then getting confirmation that you're going to get paid. And then game day, post game is the celebration. That's the best part for me.
Well, hopefully it's celebration. If it's 8 million in debt, it's not a celebration, is it?
No, it's not. But the thing is, that's the framework that I use in the book, and I talk about.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose when I put it in relation to what you're talking about, we do a lot of visualization and mental rehearsal and stuff like that. You get yourself in the zone, which is what you're
Yes,
talking about. So that
exactly.
kind of thing is rehearsing that telephone call, rehearsing, getting your mindset ready, so you're relaxed about it and you've seen it being done, like as if it's already been done. That you've got
Exactly.
the deal. Do you see what I mean? And you've got the money or whatever.
Yeah,
So
you're seeing the invoice come in saying, paid in full. And
yeah,
and
that's
that's
right. Yeah.
and it's a great analogy. I'm so glad you said that, because I feel like for the listeners, a lot of people don't take the time to actually visualize their success and whatever success means to them. Now, as an author, I had to visualize myself as an author. I had to see my book
Yeah.
done. Yeah, I had to see it. I had to see it completed. I had to see it being sold. I had to see it making a difference. I had to see that business owners would want it. I had to see
Yeah.
it. I had to see myself on podcasts like this, telling the story, talking about why I do this, and it's because I am a small business owner as well, and when I kept seeing all these small businesses go out of business, I'm like, okay, nobody's talking to them about this part, because in business, most people talk to you about sales and marketing
Yeah.
and all the other things, but no one talks to you about, well, what do you do if you don't get paid? Because
Yeah.
if your sale is not complete and there's no money in the bank, you don't have payroll money, you don't have ad money, you don't have marketing money, you don't have any money, you don't have any revenue to do anything. And like I said, personally, going through working for a company that went out of business, this was a small company. We're talking less than 100 people. I'm looking at, okay, what in my book can make a difference? So in the book, I give you the scripts and what to say on the phone. How do you prepare a proper invoice? What do you say on the phone when you have a difficult client? How do you keep your cool, still have fun, and see yourself winning? Because if you don't see yourself winning, you're not going to.
Yeah. No, that's right. Exactly. And this also applies. It's like business to business, but it actually applies to anyone that might have an invoice for a one-off job and they might not have a business. It could be just the
Mm-hmm.
fact that they just are owed money somehow.
Right.
They could just, I don't know, someone who does, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I can give you an example. So, for example, if you're a person that, so yes, when you're collecting the cash, it's business or it's personal. Let's say you own a home and you have a painter come in who gives you an estimate of how they're going to paint your home. So first thing they're doing is they're giving you a quote, and they're going to tell you it's going to cost, say, $2,000. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to get a deposit. They're going to get a deposit from you, and then they're going to say, we'll paint this, and then the next payment is due here, next payment is due here, next payment is due here. Here's the thing: they're not going to continue to paint your house if you don't pay them.
Yeah, I know.
They're not going to do that. And so in order to deal with cash, you've got to be able to see yourself, winning that. And even the painter's got to see himself, getting the quote, getting the payment, doing the things, and then collecting the money. And all of this is a part of business, because basically in business and in life, there's always a transaction that's happening. There's always, you always are problem solving. And then the other thing is that you always have to remember that, like I say it this way, collect the cash. The sale is not complete until the money's in the bank. And it's got to be one of those things where I say it this way: if you are confident to ask for the sale, you have to be just as confident to ask for it. That's one of the things in the book I talk about, because a lot of this with collecting the cash, business is confidence. A lot of people lack confidence because they're like, oh my gosh, if I have to go ask this customer for the money, I'm not sure, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, no, if you've got the sale, you got to get the money. You have to do that. You have to see yourself winning.
Yeah. And there is so many businesses or so many business deals or whatever where they just run off with the money, and it's just really dodgy business for some people, isn't it? Really very shady deals out there as well, isn't there? So you've just got to be careful, I suppose, haven't you?
But yeah, exactly. And part of how you, unfortunately, that does happen a lot in business. And one of the things that's very important for you to, in the book, I talk about why it's important to have a contract. Make sure it identifies the terms, what to buy from you, what are you doing, and then the payment terms. And then obviously, yes, in life as in business, yes, there are people who will I call it this: they will ghost you. They will not pay you. And,
exactly.
That part. And a lot of times you have to figure, okay, if they ghost me, what am I? What's my recourse? So I talk about, obviously you can deal, take a small claims court, the Better Business Bureau, and sometimes you basically just have to take the loss. And unfortunately, that happens. Yeah, that's a rough one, but it happens.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. Yeah, so that's just quite an interesting thing. What happened with the company with the $8 million then? Did it just go bust itself, the company? I mean, they laid off the people, you said.
Yeah. So what happened with the company was they basically, like I said, they called us all downstairs and they made an executive decision. They closed the company. They literally went
Oh,
out of
right,
business.
yeah. Sorry, I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed that bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
No. No. No.
yeah.
No.
So they had to.
So they got the money,
Yeah,
and
yeah. Oh, they
unfortunately,
took the
you
money.
know,
Oh, they got the
they
money
got
back.
we got so I got so there was the team of us. So I was on the collections team. I
Yeah, yeah,
collected I they gave me 8 million. I collected 6, and then we all got called downstairs and they said, hey, we've made an executive decision. We're closing the company today, and they let us all go. So they got
yeah,
their
yeah,
money, and then
yeah,
they went off into the sunset. And unfortunately,
yeah.
I mean, it happens more often than you realize because companies decide that they don't want to be in business anymore. They
Yeah,
decide to
no.
downside, or they
Yeah,
get
yeah,
bought out by somebody else, and the new company that may buy them out doesn't want the entire team. That
yeah,
happens
yeah,
often as well, and so
yeah.
unfortunately, that's what happened to us. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the thing is that they probably just felt, well, look, this isn't really working out for us, and we just want to get out while we can, and it's hard because they have to sack so many people and things like that. So it's a hard decision for them, isn't it? Really, to do that,
Yeah.
I suppose. But the fact is, you got their money back, so they probably was happy about that side of it.
Excuse me. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
they got their money back. But yeah, but
yeah,
like I said, so the story of me writing the book is my personal journey of what happened to me, and then wanting to leave a legacy. I care about small business owners, and I care that they actually have tools to not lose their money. Like I said, the pandemic really brought to light my story that happened to me years ago, and it brought to
yeah,
light
yeah,
that small business, not a lot of small business owners weren't prepared. So when I see them, they were asking for loans, and some of them were closing, and I'm thinking my question was, I wondered how much money did they leave on the table, and because they thought I'll get around to it, I'll get to it later, and unfortunately they were short. And so in the book, it's the journey of again my mindset, setting up your teams, proper what to say when you have challenging customers that owe you money, the collection zone, and then I actually provide a glossary of terms so that people know. So, for example, there are people that may not know what accounts payable is and what accounts receivable is. So I actually go through and give you all the definitions of all the business terms that you need as a business owner, so that you're prepared. Because I realize a lot of people come into business from corporate or from other areas, and they may not know these terms. So I provide tools and tips on what to do, and then I celebrate you at the end.
yeah, yeah. Excellent. So with your statement, which is obviously absolutely true, the sale is not complete until the
The
money is
money
in the
is in the
bank.
bank.
Do
Yep.
you think that would reform the way companies should form their sales team? Because obviously they push their salespeople to just go out and outbound or inbound sales, and you're getting leads and stuff like that, and counting numbers, and stuff like that. And of course, they don't really know much about the money or where that's gone or what's happened. So the key word is the sale is not complete. So the sales team should be part of that completion of the money right until
Absolutely.
it's in the bank. So maybe they should also be involved with it until it's in the bank. Do you think? Or
Oh yeah, no, I definitely think that. As a matter of fact, one of the things I talk about is that sales and AR, they go together. Because if you think
yeah,
about it, on the front end, you've got the sale. So there's a salesperson that's getting the sale, getting the contract, getting the business, and then somebody's got to take that sale and walk it through.
yeah,
You've got to set up in the system. You have to properly invoice them, provide the service, provide the product. You got to bill them,
yeah,
and then you got to get paid. On the front end, the sale gets celebrated because that's advanced revenue that's planning to come into the business. But
yeah,
what people don't understand is that it's not in the bank until it actually you do the service or you do the product, you bill, and then you get paid. And I think what happens is that like and I get it. The sale is what's celebrated, because you think about it, when people have a sales team, they have kickoff meetings. There's
yeah,
all the fanfare is around the front end, but the fanfare needs to be on the sale and the payments. They go together. And when I
yeah,
think to your point, when businesses change their model to put sales and AR together, I think you're going to see you'll see a difference in business. And plus, the thing is that the salespeople will realize, wow, we won't continue to be in business and have what we have until we make sure that this is complete. Meaning, we go work with AR. We make sure that this everything in the sales process, from the sale to the contract to the delivery to the invoicing and the payments, everything happens, and that my commission is tied to that. Or it'll change the game for sure.
Yeah. Wow. Well, let's just hope so. I mean, obviously, as I say, most times I hear about sales and it's all about getting numbers and bonuses and stuff like that. Before you don't hear much about the bank and how much they've made. That sort of thing. It's just how many people they've kind of got to sign up, and that's it. But not any transactions or anything like that. You don't hear anything further. So
Right.
yeah, that's quite interesting, because I don't know how the commission works or anything like that. But yeah, that's an interesting one. Yeah, so tell us. So the book's been released, just been released, is it? Or
no, the book has been out for a year. The book came out last year.
Yeah.
Actually, it got launched. Actually, this is the cool fun fact about the book. The book actually was launched in Times Square on a billboard. So
okay. I was on a billboard.
There's a billboard in Times
Wow.
Square. Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now the book has been out for a year, and so now it's still going strong, and I'm still talking about it because we're still dealing with business and money.
Oh, of course. Yeah. No. I mean, the financial well-being. Education and well-being is a very, very big topic. Amongst health and everything else, other well-being topics. Finance comes into it as well. So it's very, very
definitely
huge.
Yeah,
very huge.
I'm glad you said that, because that's something, especially for small business owners, their financial well-being it can be determined on whether you've got sales and you've got payments, and if you're stressing about either one of those, that's where collect the cash, the sale is not complete until the money's in the bank. And if you're not following up about your payments, that can be very stressful. And the fact is that you don't know where your next sale is coming from. That can be very stressful. So the goal is for you as a business owner is to manage your stress, is to have a plan in place to get your sale and get your payments, and then keep track of it, so that you don't have what happened to me doesn't happen to anybody else. That's the real reason why I wrote the book. Okay.
So tell us more about your company then, BCS Solutions, where you got your talented team together, educating people. How was that before the book, or?
Yeah, BCS Solutions was started actually before the book. So I launched BCS Solutions because of what happened to me. And what I found out was that there were other small companies that kept saying, "Dee, I've got these people that owe me money, and I don't know what to do." And so I created BCS Solutions. So I said, okay, I can come in and teach you what to do. So we set up tracking systems. We teach you how to engage on the phone, how to do follow-ups, and then also how to teach your team how to effectively collect. Because I worked with a company years ago that said, okay, we've got a team of people and they're not effectively collecting. I said, great, well, let me find out, what's the problem. So the goal of BCS Solutions is to teach you, train you, and consult. It's basically done with you for collecting or done for you. And that's what we do.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's fantastic, Dee. So how can people find out more about your business, and also where to find your book?
Sure thing. So thanks again, Dave. So the book is available at www.collectthecash.biz/book. That's www.collectthecash.biz/book. And to find out more about me, you also go to www.collectthecash.biz.
Wow, fantastic, Dee. It's been a really, really exciting and a real engrossing, and enjoyed the conversation with you. And it's really, I've got educated by it, actually, because there's a couple of things I didn't know about myself. People think they know things and they don't really, do they?
Right.
Until you speak to an expert like yourself, So
thank you.
I really appreciate the fact you come on the show and educated my audience today, and anyone else that picks up this episode and suddenly listens to it. And appreciate you coming on the show, talking to me on the show.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Cheers.
That's all for this episode. Thanks for listening, and remember, if you want to support what we do, then share, subscribe, and leave a review over on Apple Podcasts, or head over to my website, davepalmer.com, and click on Rate Show. Well, that's all for now, but I'll see you in the next episode of The Dave Palmer Show.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.